Am I the a-hole for disowning my wife's daughter after she chose her mom's affair partner over me? I, 35 male, met my now soon-to-be ex-wife, 33 female, during uni 12 years ago. She already had kid when she was 19, but the dad left as soon as she started uni. We were dating for 3 months before I met her daughter, Lisa. I remember seeing her family for the first time. I was nervous meeting her parents, but when I saw a little girl beside her mom, I was confused. I asked her if that was her little sister or a cousin of hers, and her answer shocked me. When she told me that that's her daughter, I thought I misheard her or something. At first, I wanted to dump her for hiding something so crucial for me, but she kept on begging for me to stay, and eventually I relented. And soon enough, I started to fall in love with her daughter and wanted to be her father figure. Our bond grew stronger over the years, and in early 2019, before the pandemic hit, we got married. In late 2021, I adopted Lisa, and in early 2022, my wife gave birth to our son, Mark. After my son was born, my wife made a choice to stay at home for the time being, and I was completely fine with that. Everything was going perfectly until a few months ago. I started noticing my wife increasingly spending time with her friends. At the time, I didn't say anything since in my mind, being at home all day was probably eating at her, and I didn't want to seem controlling. The thing that made me suspicious was her constant texting and going out of the room for calls. She never did that for anyone besides this one friend of hers. I asked her about it, but she gave me some vague answers about gossip. The moment that took it too far, though, was when I came home last week and saw her outside talking on the phone. This wasn't out of the ordinary. I remember seeing my son on the floor crying alone. I was angry at my wife for just leaving him alone in the house, but when I went to pick him up and smelled the horrible stench coming from him, I was beyond furious. His diaper seemed like it hadn't been changed since that morning. I quickly changed his diaper and rushed outside with him in my arms. I was beyond mad. I snatched her phone from her hand and bolted back inside. I locked my wife outside to have a talk with this friend of hers alone. I had my suspicions about who it really was, and when I heard a male voice calling out her name and asking who was there, I immediately knew what was going on. He ended the call as soon as he heard my voice. I then proceeded to lock the front door to make sure my wife couldn't enter the house at all, and proceeded to screenshot as much of their chat as I could, and then sent them to myself before deleting them on her phone. About 5 minutes later, she was still banging on a glass door leading to the backyard. I reluctantly opened it, and was met with a smack in the face. Remember, all of this is happening while I'm holding my toddler in my arms. As soon as she realized what she just did, she apologized profusely, started crying, and tried to hug me. I pushed her away and told her to meet me at the dining table. I told my daughter to quickly take care of the baby so me and her mom could have a quick chat. I just kept it simple. I told her this was her only chance to even have a sliver of chance of getting me back. If she messed up this talk, it was over on the spot. No lies, nothing. She kept on trying to apologize and to say it wasn't that serious. I reminded her that she not only screwed me over, she could also have easily done serious harm to our son by leaving him alone in the house like that. And then simply asked who, for how long, and did they hook up. She replied with her ex-boss Daniel, 6 months, and she didn't answer the last one. So I kept on reminding her that this was her last chance. She then just simply nodded. I then asked her if they used protection. To this, she started crying and started begging me for forgiveness. She said she would block him then and there, would never contact him again. I could sleep with any woman I want from now on, yada yada. I guess Lisa heard a commotion and came downstairs. I told her to go back up, but she just walked to my wife and asked her if I knew about Daniel. Up to this point, I was calm, but upon hearing this, I swear even I started tearing up. I asked Lisa if she knew all along, and she said yes. At this point, I'm full on crying, and I asked her why she didn't tell me. She responded with, because unlike you, Daniel buys me the things I want without having to beg. I asked her how she could possibly do this to her dad. She responded with the "you're not my real dad" crap. My wife screamed at her upon hearing what she said. At that point, I couldn't bear any of this anymore. I just grabbed my son and got into the car. Me and my son are currently staying at my parents' house. I've basically been drinking myself to sleep every day. Thanks to the saints of a mother I have, my son is being taken care of right now. I'm beyond hurt. I've canceled my ex-daughter's private school tuitions, all her extracurricular activities, and I've contacted a divorce lawyer. He's going to serve my wife this Friday. My wife and Lisa have been blowing up my phone nonstop with apologies. I simply responded with, "Get a lawyer and tell that ungrateful thing of yours to start calling Daniel her dad. I'm disowning her." And then I blocked my wife. I didn't respond to Lisa. I just simply blocked her. I guess my wife told our friends what her and Lisa did, and now they have been texting me nonstop. They understand how I feel, but believe I'm going too far by divorcing my wife without hearing her out. They also keep telling me that disowning Lisa is definitely going too far, and she's only a kid and didn't understand what she was doing. I just can't get over the things she told me. I've worked my butt off to give my wife and daughter luxuries I could have only dreamt of as a kid, and this is how I get repaid? Lisa, 13 years old, is old enough to understand that hiding her mom's affair is bad, and definitely purposely used those words to hurt me. But a part of me believes that there is still hope. A few family counseling sessions later, and we can go back to living the life I once considered a fairy tale. I'm beyond destroyed by this whole situation. A part of me just wants to see them burn in hell, but the other part of me believes there is still hope. Am I really going too far? Is there still hope? Am I the a-hole for disowning my daughter and divorcing my wife? Now for the top comments. I would get a DNA test on your son just in case. Thank you for your concern, but I know my son is mine. He's literally a mini-me. Get an STD test just in case. Who knows how loyal that Daniel guy has been to your soon-to-be ex. OP, go ahead and take a paternity and STD test. Go screw up the affair partner. Or pretend to get back together. Take her word, go after her pals, and then divorce her. Hey, that's just me being a vindictive person. F that, don't take them back. Not the a-hole. Stop drinking, bro. It only makes the thoughts worse. I'm writing this drunk, but thank you. I know I need to stop at some point. I am so terribly sorry. Betrayal like this just trips us in half. Know that there are so many of us out here who had all kinds of horrendous experiences like this, and we have recovered and realized that a person we loved never existed. And then the love evaporates. It's very interesting. It takes about 2 years. We realized they lied to us every single day. They manipulated us so we wouldn't notice. They triangulated against us with the affair partner and here with the stepdaughter, which makes it spicier as an affair. Eventually, you will repair and heal, and it will all settle. It sounds like you'll probably pay some child support for a while. You'll get your poor baby tested and figure out what you want to do. And then you'll realize how messed up you were by what she intentionally did to you subversively. You will start to repair, and you'll start to rebuild, and your life will be better than ever. Hang in there. Thank you so much. I teared up reading that. Not a-hole. I 100% get the hurt and feeling of betrayal. Your stepdaughter might only be 13, but was mature enough to hit you where it would hurt you the most, when you were already down. I would stick with the divorce. Cheating is a deal breaker for me. You may be able to salvage the relationship with your daughter, but it's going to take real remorse on her part, or you'll always wonder if she's only apologized to get back in your financial good books. Thank you. If I reconcile with her, I'm definitely not giving back the life she once had. She has to work for that. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not doing anything for my stepchildren anymore after being called names and filing for a divorce from my husband after he didn't back me up? I, 30 female, have been married to my 34 male husband for 6 years and he has twins, a boy and a girl, and they're 16 now. When we started dating/got married, we went to family therapy, and I made it clear that I was not trying to be their mother or replace their mother. Their mother hasn't been in their lives since they were about 8. Things have been great with us these past 6 years. They even started calling me mom when they were around 12/13. Recently, their bio mother came back into their lives, and they were really excited. Things were great for about 6 months, and then they started to call me by my real name. That hurt, but it's what they chose to do, and I never questioned it. Recently, they've been getting very disrespectful. They don't follow the curfew rules, they're not cleaning up after themselves, they're talking back to me, telling me I'm not their real mom, that I'm the reason she left. Which is not true. I didn't meet him until almost a year and a half after she left, and that now that she's back, they don't need me anymore. 3 weeks ago, there was a big blow-up where my stepson called me the B-word. I took his phone and told him to go to his room until his dad came back. But instead, he ran out and went to his mom's. She came over and it was a big argument. She tried to hit me and I pushed her out of my house. My stepdaughter told me if I ever put my hands on her mom again, she'd kick my butt. They both went to their mom's place. After that, I haven't been very active. I usually take them to sports and activities. I don't wake them up for school, so they've been late a few times. I tell them to have their mom wake them up and take them. We were supposed to go to Disney World for their spring break this week, but I canceled everything. I told them and my husband, and I guess they thought I was bluffing. We were supposed to leave Thursday night, and when I didn't start the usual vacation roundup, they were shocked. They started saying I was jealous that their mom came back in their lives, that I'm a horrible person, I'm selfish. There was some name-calling and my husband was silent. I asked him if he was going to step in, and he said I was wrong for canceling. I left and went to stay in a hotel. He has been blowing my phone up asking me to come back, and yesterday he told me that their mother disappeared again, and they've been calling me crying and apologizing. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't feel like I'm part of their family, and they can't just cry and come back now that she disappeared. I told my husband that I want a divorce, and I'll be back over this week to get my things, but we have nothing to talk about. Yes, I know their mother was manipulating them. I never said otherwise. Yes, they are 16. That doesn't give them the right to treat me this way. Being 16 doesn't mean you get to be disrespectful and threaten me. I've always been in their corner. I know their feelings matter in this, but I'm also a person with feelings. I'm not only considering or moving forward with this divorce based on how the children acted, it is also that my husband did not back me up in this. If I can't count on him to help me navigate this tough situation that we were all going through, then why should I stay? That does not mean that I should be treated the way I was being treated. That is not normal 16-year-old behavior. To threaten me? Call me vile names? I just need time for myself. And I don't want an apology just because their bio mother ran out on them again. I want an apology because they really mean it. And I don't believe anyone can be truly sorry 2 days after their mother vanished again. I would never just abandon them, but I do need time for myself because my feelings were disregarded. Yes, I am an adult, but I still have feelings that were hurt and need time for myself. I never ask or expect them to be perfect. I never expect them to be the most mature people. But I am allowed to be hurt and take time for myself during all of this. They have feelings and so do I. I love them very much. They are my children, but this is a very complicated situation. This is not because they called me a bee. I've been called worse. I'm a woman. This is ultimately about my husband not backing me up during this situation. And yes, I am hurt that they called me that. I'm allowed to be. It hurts even worse coming from two people who I love dearly and would never hurt or want any harm to come to them. Not a-hole. If your husband stepped up and actually parented his children, then he wouldn't be looking forward to his second divorce and being a single parent. If bio mom hadn't done her disappearing act again, I wonder if he'd even be calling Opie to beg her to come back. Bio mom knew she won, so she checked out. It was clear what bio mom was doing, but to disappear after she convinced her kids to blow up their home life just seems so messed up. I can see doing that if bio mom had plans to get her family back, but to leave when they need her? I hope these kids realize what kind of person their mom really is, and that their dad gets them the help they need to deal with this. OP, you're not wrong to leave. The moment the disrespect started, your husband should have stepped up. To hell with all of them. Go find someone without kids and live your best life. Don't be talked into going back. They don't love you. They love what you can do for them. Big difference. Oof, hit the nail right on the head. Last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to allow my daughter around my brother-in-law for something he did years ago and leaving my husband because of it? Back when my brother-in-law was 28, he had a relationship with a 15-year-old girl. He ended up in prison for 12 years on kidnapping and charges. He just got out 2 years ago and moved back to our home state 3 months back. Now, my husband and I have a 13, almost 14-year-old daughter, his stepdaughter technically, and I absolutely refuse to allow my brother-in-law around her. Everyone in the family is extremely mad at me because he did his time and paid his dues. They have tried convincing me several times that what my brother-in-law did was a one-time thing, and that since my brother-in-law is mentally delayed due to childhood trauma, that he really didn't understand that what he did was wrong, because mentally he was on the same page as the 15-year-old girl. I refuse to buy into the excuses, and have stood firm behind not allowing this man near my kid. I don't care if he is reformed and found Jesus. I don't care if he openly admitted it was a mistake and is apologetic. He still violated a kid who is close in age to my daughter. Well, yesterday the family called us and said they needed to have a family discussion and asked to come over, which I allowed. My mother-in-law, father-in-law, and sister-in-law were all here and said that our niece's 12th birthday is coming up next week and that they want us to attend, but said that brother-in-law would be there. They asked that I put up with it for a few hours for my niece's sake and said, "We will make sure that John isn't around your daughter. We will pay close attention," and basically begged me to just put it behind me for just a few hours. I said absolutely not. They all have this belief that he is reformed anyhow, so I don't trust them to keep an eye on my kid because they all think he's cured and wouldn't do that to family. They left angry anyways. Well, I walked by the bathroom last night and heard my husband crying. I knocked on the door and found him sitting on the edge of the tub. He unleashed a world of hurt on me, saying he is freaking sick of being caught in the middle of all this BS and feels like I'm making him choose between his entire family and me because his brother will be at all events from this point forward, so he knows that he won't be able to go because of it. He said that he is angry at all of us and is starting to hate us all because we won't shut the heck up and stop giving him ultimatums. I haven't given him any. I simply walked out and went to my mother's with my kid. I know he's hurt right now, but I will never tolerate the lack of concern for my own child after what that man did. Am I wrong here? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You need to keep your daughter safe. If he is developmentally delayed and did not know what he did was wrong, chances are he is in the same place mentally now, and it could happen again. Tell your husband he can attend family gatherings without you if his brother will be there, then he does not have to choose. Not only that, depending on the state they're in, he is a registered offender, which means depending on level, if I had to be a betting person, I would say the highest level and for life, he can't be around any child under 18. So really, it would be a violation of his registration if he was around a child that is underage, given his prior convictions. I wonder if the parents of the birthday girl's friends are aware there will be a predator at the party where they will be dropping their children off? I guarantee they don't. When I was 10, I went to a birthday party and there was a creepy uncle type just being super freaking weird the whole night. And then someone came late, and as soon as he walked in, he started yelling at the dude and the mother of the birthday boy. And then he went to all the parents and started telling them that the guy was a pedo who wasn't allowed around children. The bastard molested his own kids. To say they almost turned into a mob to attack this lady and a creep is an understatement.